Welcome to the Heart and Mind of Business. Today, Clara and I are talking about other people's opinions and whether they think you're nuts on doing what it is that you're about to do, and whether you're already building something or whether you're just about to start out. So we're excited to share what it is to think about whether people think we're nuts. So welcome to the Heart and Mind of Business. I'm Debbie Clement-Large and I'm joined with...
Clara Rose. We're so happy to have you today.
We super are. Now, we're both entrepreneurs and Clara's been an entrepreneur a lot longer than I have. But we have some stories to share around people's opinions of what we're doing. And it can be really easy to get in the way of stopping you doing what you want to do. So, do other people think that you're nuts doing what you're doing? That's the question for today.
That's the question of the hour. Yes, some people think I'm nuts. But I have to tell you that from all of my years, because I spent many years doing business development consulting, so that really just means I helped people start businesses, most of them from scratch. Sometimes there is some like a newer entrepreneur who was like, I have this business and I'm flailing, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'd come in and help them. But a lot of them were from scratch, and they really struggled with, are people going to think I'm nuts, right? I'm giving up my corporate job or my, whatever to start this new adventure that I have no idea if it's going to fly or not, right? So the first person that pops into mind, I won't tell her name, but it was a couple of ladies that were starting a business together. And she really struggled because her husband literally said, why would you do that? Why would you put your family at risk in that way? Right. So, and I remember thinking, wow, I've never encountered somebody who felt so strongly about the value and that connection with that someone providing a paycheck to you, because I'm just so entrepreneurial. Like I like to say, I think I was born entrepreneurial at birth. It doesn't even faze me to start a new adventure. I'm like, yes, let's do it. If it's a great idea, let's do it. But her husband was truly afraid that she was jeopardizing their financial future because she was giving up that regular paycheck for something that had uncertainty. Like,
and
wow.
that's a wow deal, isn't it? Because we can have different people that think we're nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's family, that's a bigger deal than when it's just other people. Because when I started, it wasn't family. My family were really supportive. But it was my old boss who thought I was nuts. I had a couple of people I'd worked with thought I was nuts.
Lost your mind, right?
Well, I think I lost it a long time ago, Clara, to be honest.
To be honest. But you were confirming to them that you had just flat out lost your mind. Maybe your boss was saying that you were nuts because your boss didn't want to lose you.
Well,
Maybe.
in her mind, I'd studied for 6 years. I got to a point of having a career, and I was resigning from that institution and giving up, resigning from the organization, but the institution I was belonging to, membership wise, and just walking away from the whole shebang, the whole lot, and just saying, I'm doing something completely different. And she looked at me and she said, I think you're nuts. Quite literally.
Wow.
I don't feel nuts. Actually, I feel quite excited about it. And I don't mind that you feel or think that I'm nuts, because it's my life and I'm going to do what feels right.
Right.
But that's at a bit of a distance, isn't it, when it's somebody like your work boss? But when it's your family, that's much more enmeshed in what you're doing. And that feels a bit more scary.
Yes, because it's so personal, right? It's one thing to have coworkers or a boss say, oh, I think you've lost your marbles, lady, right? But to have somebody that you love and somebody close to you say, oh, why? And that was like the strongest reaction I'd ever seen. But over the years, lots of people had family who said, oh, are you sure you should do this? And what if it doesn't work? And, so there's always been some resistance for people. at least a little bit, but that when it's so your spouse, that's like the person you
Yeah.
live with, right? For them to be negative, that's a tough thing to overcome. And
Yeah.
ultimately, I think 12 months into their partnership, the lady left and went back to doing what she did before. Because you know what? Starting a business is tough. It's hard work, right? It's hard work, and cash flow does this, and it's a different life, but
Yeah.
there's such freedom in it. There's
No.
such freedom, right? Oh, see, I see that look on your face. Such freedom in not getting up and punching a time clock every single day,
Yeah.
showing up to do what other people tell you has to be done in your day.
Which can feel
And
soul destroying
it can,
when it,
absolutely.
when it's not in alignment with who you are. But what I would say to that anybody then that's experiencing that sort of fear from somebody that's really close, there is a really good book called well, there's several out there, but there's one about the top 5 regrets of the dying, and it was written by a lady called
Uh-huh.
Bronwyn Ware, and actually she worked in a hospice, and she would speak to these people who are receiving end of life care. And one of the tips that people said was actually don't live somebody else's life,
Mm,
because one day
so
you'll get
good.
there and you'll regret it. You'll look back and think it's too late now, but only I wish.
Right. And
And
there's nothing you can do about it at that point,
there's nothing you can do about it at that
right?
point. And
Right.
the other thing is yeah, we feel connected with another person, and we get enmeshed with another person when we're married, or we live with somebody and we have a family and financial commitments together and everything else. But really, we are just one person on a journey through life, and other people come in and out of that journey. And who's to say that we stick around and meet and fulfill somebody else's obligations only for them to leave at some point, or for something to happen?
Yeah, because
And,
it
and it,
does.
and it does. And actually, them calling you nuts is their fear, but that's not for you to deal with necessarily. So when we give our power away so much, where we think, I'm going to give up my dream, that's a huge ask.
Yeah.
And if somebody really loves you, they will support you. And it's making that decision whether, you work a job and part-time and build your business and find
Mhm.
stepping stones to make it a safer journey. But that doesn't mean to say you have to give up everything and go back to what you were doing before.
I totally agree. And in our culture, in our society right now, there's a huge side hustle culture of people who are saying, I'm going to do this as a side hustle,
Yeah.
right? Which means, yes, I'm going to still work my full-time job, but on the side, I'm going to hustle it up and make this other thing happen for me and my family, or for myself,
Yeah.
so that someday that side hustle can take over and be the thing that brings in income for my family, and I don't have to do this other thing I don't necessarily want to keep doing. And so I think that's a great way to look at it. If you don't feel like you can make the leap to one full time, or if somebody in your life that you love is going, wow, you've flat out lost your marbles, right? Yes, I think you're nuts. Maybe a slower transition or a side hustle is a good way to go about doing that. But don't give up your dream,
Don't give up your dream. I mean, I
even
did
if
a
you're
side
nuts.
hustle. Yeah,
Yes.
I did that too, because I
Mhm.
worked part-time I worked in the arena of transformation change. I was coaching within there, but I was also then building this. And for me, that was a safe way of doing my inner work and letting go of my fear of stepping out, and learning to trust myself, learning to know that I could learn all these extra skills that I could do in order to be able to run a business that I hadn't done before. So for me, the baby steps bit was really important. So like you said, Clara, don't give up on your dream. It's
Yeah,
really keep hold of it, it
totally agree.
nurture it, support it in any way that you can. And what other people say against it is really their fear speaking, but you don't have to buy into that.
Yep. Yep. I totally agree. I've not been that person afraid, but I've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
As a
Well,
matter
I
of fact,
have.
I always have more than one business. My
Mm.
husband and I both have our own businesses. We just started a third business, another one together. And you know what? It doesn't mean that you have to do it just because you think, oh, that's a great idea, but there's any reason that you can't do it.
Yeah.
So if
But
people think you're nuts, that's on them.
yeah, it is. It is on them, but I
Yeah.
understand the fear because I felt it
Yeah.
too. And leaving behind a regular
Mhm.
salary with benefits and everything that you've known is a big leap of faith. But the more you trust in yourself, the
Yeah.
more you do the inner work and understanding yourself and how you feel about what you're doing, and the more you do all the strategy stuff that you
Mhm.
teach, Clara, the actually it becomes easier and it
It does.
feels the new normal, if you like
Yes.
me saying new normal, because that is
Yeah.
around at the moment.
I don't love the new normal saying, but I do love that I can, like, I haven't woke up to an alarm clock for years, like for years, because I'm an entrepreneur and I decide, right? I decide when I'm going to work.
Yeah.
If I scheduled a client for 9 o'clock in the morning, that's because I decided to do that. I made that commitment. No one else tells me what I have to do. And I love that about the entrepreneurial life. I make my own schedule. I work like a crazy woman. You know me. I work a lot of hours by choice. I love what I do. But when I take time off, that is also my choice. And no one tells me that I can't. So it's a beautiful life. Jump in, follow your dream.
I
You're
hear
not nuts.
you're not nuts.
You're
You're not
not
nuts.
nuts.
People need
Come
creative.
join us.
Yes. We need the creative. Express your creativity. Bring your gift to the world. Shine your light. Just
Yep.
find the safe way to do it.
Yep. Good stuff. All right. That is about all the time that we have today. We may have gone a little long, but I'm glad you joined us today. If you have not done so, please like, share, get the notifications so that you know when we're going to go live again. And we are here every week for you. So thank you again for being with us. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Have a fantastic week and remember to subscribe. See you then.